But this is a story not so much about the exciting life topside, but the more routine life below decks. While seemingly mundane, the galley crews like culinary specialists or C.S. Torrey Mitchell take enormous pride in their work.
You like to cook?
I love to cook.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Nothing makes me happier.
It makes you happy.
It makes me happy.
What do you like about it?
The morale. The CS rate brings the morale on the boat. If the crew is eating healthy, if they're eating good, if the food is good, the crew is good.
When the ship is out on maneuvers, the Navy spends $2.5 million per day, including sailors' salaries and food. Out of that, only around $40,000 goes for meals. Buying in bulk, combined with lots of storage, keeps expenses down.
As far back as the American Revolution, food has been a primary concern for the military. Where to get it, how to carry it, how to keep it fresh. Farm boys raised on good country cooking and marching into battle suddenly found they had nothing to eat except salt pork and a rock-hard biscuit called hardtack.
To augment their meager diets, early American soldiers and sailors depended on suppliers like meat packer Uncle Sam Wilson. In the War of 1812, Wilson stamped his initials U.S. on barrels of meat and secured his place in American history. While field kitchens have traditionally served our troops, today's soldiers often rely on pre-packaged meals.
I served in the Marine Corps in the 1960s, and back then the standard food in the field was called C ration, C for combat. Nutritious, but not at all delicious. Over the years, the C ration has evolved into this.
The MRE, or Meal Ready to Eat, an improvement in taste and variety. It includes snack foods, dessert, and a main dish ranging from pot roast to vegetarian pasta. You won't find MREs on board the Ronald Reagan. That's because food here is prepared from scratch.
So you're mixing it up right now.
That's right.
This is a Creole macaroni mix of some sort?
Creole macaroni, ground beef. Like basically, it's like a spaghetti sauce with macaroni noodles, with elbow noodles in it.
Culinary specialist and professional cook John Smith is from Alabama.
I've been to 2 different schools for it.
Yeah.
The Navy sent me to 2 different schools for it, so I'm pretty well trained, experienced.
And that experience pays off in flavor.
Taste and tell me what you think. You
So
know?
this is Creole...
Creole mac. Creole mac.
Creole macaroni.
Straight out the pot.
Oh, good.
Straight out the pot.
That is good. Delicious.
Whether it's potatoes, pasta, or poultry, suppliers for the Navy go through a competitive bidding process. Not completely unlike, but certainly more high-tech than America's first provisioners. People like Uncle Sam Wilson, mentioned earlier, who won a contract to supply meat during the War of 1812. Today, boxes of fresh produce, canned and frozen foods are loaded on in port, then replenished at sea by supply ships. The Reagan goes through millions of dollars of food every year. Normally, the ship carries a 3-month supply.
What kind of beef do you have down here? You have steaks and...
Well, we have everything from ground beef to prime rib.
This is prime rib over here?
This box right over here.
Oh, right here. This represents a lot of money then, doesn't it?
Yes, actually we have around $900,000 in just this freezer alone.
$900,000
That's correct.
in meat right here. Ooh.
For those who prefer seafood, the ship stocks salmon, halibut, and other frozen fish. In terms of drink, the days of issuing grog, watered-down rum, are long gone. There is no alcohol on board U.S. Navy vessels. For older personnel, the beverage of choice is coffee. For younger sailors, milk.
This milk right here is the same milk that you would buy at the grocery store, just packaged a little bit different. This milk right here, it's called ESL, Extended Shelf Life. ESL has an extra step during homogenation that prolongs its life. This milk will last 90 days in cold storage.
The junior enlisted personnel eat their meals in one of the mess halls, complete with a walkway down the chow line patterned after the star-studded Hollywood Walk of Fame. The senior enlisted enjoy fancier dining quarters, like this one with a wall-sized mural of Rancho del Cielo, the Reagan's ranch above Santa Barbara, California. The most popular item for the younger crew, chicken nuggets.
That's real Navy chow. That's great.
They are served on the so-called brown line, where all the food is deep fried.
You know, the average age of sailors on this ship is about 22, and I find your desire for nutritious food is inversely proportional to your age. So as sailors mature, they start to look for more healthy options, and we were able to provide that.
And that means a growing emphasis on going green, pushing a healthier greens-based diet with a boatload of vegetables and fruit.
You're in charge of the salad bar? The entire salad bar. You're in charge of keeping this crew healthy.
Yeah.
And do you think it's a healthy crew?
They do eat a lot of salad, so because I chop constantly all day, so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
To help everyone make informed decisions, cards with portion size and calorie counts are posted.
And over here we have
Breakfast burritos.
Breakfast burrito, portion size 1.
300.
300 calories.
300 calories.
Yeah, but they still eat them.
Yes, they do, sir.
At least they know what they're eating now.
Yes.
The galley operates around the clock. One meal ends, and right on its heels comes the next. Almost every sailor will do KP, kitchen patrol duty, for a full 3 months. It's tough, for some tougher than being on the flight deck.
Flight deck, you know, there's a lot of experiences. You know, it's a lot of fun, but down here it's just grueling hours, grueling, you know, repetition, and like over and over and over. So I think definitely down here is much, much harder.
I cook some pretty good food, so when they eat it, I get good feedback from them.
Antonio Padilla has his hands full as the galley supervisor. Still, he finds time to put his artistic talents to work.
What are you doing?
I'm making a swan, basically a garnish for our line. That way the crew will have something as they're coming through the line. They wait in long lines, usually on board the ship. When they come through, we give them something nice to look at.
All this attention to creativity, nutrition, and flavor has earned the Reagan the creme de la creme of awards in the Navy. In 2007, the Captain Edward F. Ney Trophy went to the ship for having the best food on any aircraft carrier. But despite the emphasis on fresh and wholesome, old eating habits can prevail.
Good donut.
But too much of a good thing means that more than 60% of U.S. adults are overweight or obese. That's according to the Centers for Disease Control, and the armed forces are no exception. So, in an effort to get the crew into shipshape, the Navy has put its muscle behind its own Shipshape program, combining exercise with nutrition tips and behavior modification to develop healthier eating habits. Britt Callison is the Reagan's fitness boss.
On top of physical fitness, it is probably the most right up there with physical fitness because it's about what you put into your body as well as what you take out.
We're going to do it twice. Ready?
There is enormous pressure to get into and stay in shape. It not only makes good sense for better health, but for readiness. Sailors in good condition perform physically demanding duties more quickly and easily, and that's especially critical in times of emergency.
Ask any of these sailors, why did you join the Navy? Invariably, one thing he or she will say is something sailors have always said: to see the world.
It's always interesting to me how many sailors come from landlocked places in the United States, and it actually seems disproportionate. But so many of our sailors came from the Heartland, from places like Nebraska and Kansas and Iowa.
A good example, our escort, Petty Officer Chad Bascom.
I'm from Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
You can't get any more heartland than that.
Benjamin Lewis helps run the media department.
I'm from outside of Superior, Montana.
Far western Montana near Missoula.
Right.
Where he worked on a horse ranch.
Why did you want to join the Navy?
I wanted to see the world before I went back home. So I wanted to go experience new things and then eventually go back.
Elizabeth Garcia traded life in rural America for sweating it out in the ship's galley.
Well, if you get out, are you going to work in a restaurant, run a restaurant, own a restaurant, go back to Texas? And
I do want to go back to Texas, but I think my family has a ranch, so I think I'm going to...
Your family has a ranch?
Ranch, yeah.
What do they do?
Horses, cows, and then they help harvest watermelon and cantaloupe.
Oh.
Shipboard life takes a lot of getting used to. Cramped sleeping quarters, little or no privacy. Long work days. Weeks at sea with no land in sight. But for some, the great expanse of ocean reminds them of home.
When I go out and look out the hangar bay doors and see the water and no people, it kind of feels like home in a different sense, I guess, because it's open spaces and no people.
That's what Toby Snowden yearns for.
So this is the kind of plane that you do provide a lot of ordnance for, the FA-18.
The FA-18, yes, sir.
Toby is another farm boy. He joined the Navy 3 days after graduating high school.
Since these are flares, you want a unit of issue would be each, EA, okay?
He supervises a team of sailors responsible for moving ordnance, bombs, and ammunition from the storage bay to the flight deck and on to jet fighters. He'll retire from the Navy with 20 years of service. It's been a good experience.
I enjoy being able to, when we go out to foreign ports, being able to interact with them, going out and having a good time. I also enjoy just seeing different places, traveling the world, not having to pay for it.
But Toby has plans for a second career. For that, he's going home to the Heartland.
You want to return to a farm?
Yes, sir. I want to go back and work on my grandpa's farm when I get out.
You'll be ready then. You'll be ready to settle down on a farm.
Oh, yes, sir.
After all this.
After all this. This is, sometimes this can be hectic. This can get at you. This is hard to do. You know, I've been on the Reagan now 2.5 years, and we've been gone, I'd say 75% of the time.
You ever get tired of that?
Every day.